los Rivera double exposures. To the public, to you all today, this has been the culmination of a few years of really intense research, and Patrick alluded to the estate of the artist, who was really instrumental in, I think, opening up Sophie's career for the first time. She is an artist that, if you're in the field of Latine photography, she is like the woman artist that immediately comes to mind, and yet we really haven't had the opportunity to see her work. Maybe we've been able to see a work from her Latino series at Our America, the show that the Smithsonian hosted a few years ago, or her radical self-portraits, her toilet bowl series that were featured in Radical Women. But never before have all of her works from the 70s, which is what you're seeing in this room, to her most recent works from the mid-90s been in one place. So I think this is really offering, an opportunity for us to see the full arc of an incredible photographer, an incredible artist, someone who is working alongside many other coalitions of artists of color, of feminist artists and advocates. Really an artist who has absolutely captured my fascination. I think maybe a good way for us to think about her and to position her within the framework of New York City is, on the left, we're looking through a broken, dirty window that we can place, I believe, inside her home at Tiemann Place on 125th Street on the west side. She lived just where the subway, one of the major themes in her career, as you'll see. But this work, in doing so, really positions her as an artist working uptown, very much within the New York City context. The work next to it is called Sidewalk Demon, and so you'll see she's a true New Yorker, not necessarily looking at the skyline, but looking at all of the little details and really glorifying in the grit of New York City in the 1970s. And then to the right, these almost abstracted, very intimate bodily landscapes. I'm thinking about this room in terms of landscape writ large, that also show you that she is turning to the nude, and specifically the male nude, and this relates to her own feminist impulses as well. In addition to her work as a photographer, she was very active with writing for Majority Report, contributing photographs to the Liberation News Service, and really aligning herself with feminist causes and the rights of women artists. So I already mentioned her physical proximity to it in her home, but I'll just add to give you another sense of that Latino looks. To situate you in time, this is the late 1970s, 78, 79. West Side Story has just come out, and if you're seeing images of Latinos and Puerto Ricans specifically, they're mainly negative, right? They're mainly these stereotyped images. So Rivera, again, thanks to her writing, she describes feeling how she has never seen formal portraits of Puerto Ricans, and she takes that to heart. This suite of works behind me of children playing on New York City playgrounds, the double exposure that again led the show its title, and these are from her 2-2 or her double identity series. Everything that you're seeing in this room, I think, are her more conceptual ambits into portraiture that is not only reflected, I think, through different formal devices like double exposure, but also in more conceptual thinking around psychological identity formation that in many cases I think reflects her own experience.
We're here today with Pamela Howard, who is the Director of Marketing Communications for El Barrio del Museo. El Barrio.
El Museo del Barrio.
Thank you for correcting me. Let me try to edit that out. And we want to thank you for letting us come here today. Can you tell us, tell our audience, more about what the museum covers and what they have for people here in New York City?
Yeah, well, el Museo del Barrio is an important institution in New York. Many people know about it. It's really, we feature Latin artists and beautiful programs that are free to the public. We're located at 104th Street and 5th Avenue, just across Central Park. We're open Thursdays through Sundays, 11 to 5 p.m. And at the moment, we have really two interesting exhibitions happening. So one of them is called My Capital Repatriation from 2021 to 2025. And that exhibition is really about our permanent collection. We have a beautiful collection of more than 8,500 objects, and we display them with a few of them, the most recent objects in this exhibition that will be until July of this year. And then also we have Vera, the whole sculptures, that opened on Thursday and will be on view until August 2nd this year. And that's a wonderful photography exhibition of Puerto Rican artists who passed away in 2021 and did a lot of experimental work, portraits, and really a lot of interesting themes around feminism, activism, the subway. So yeah, it's a beautiful show.
Can you tell us what is the focus of the museum in terms of culture for people here in New York City? What are the different cultures that the museum has collections or material on? What do you try to the main idea that you want people to take away from it?
Yeah, I think this museum was born out of this museum was founded by a coalition of educators and the coalition of faculty. They wanted to give voices give them voice in the education and then it became so it's really the core of activism, give voice to visible voices, especially artists and communities. So I think the main takeaway is like we will really feature and celebrate our culture.
How many different Latino Hispanic cultures does the museum carry? And what is not what do they focus on?
I think we have objects from the Latino culture. We have gifts from many artists who are in the U.S. background. Maybe we're here, so we have Puerto Rico, the Caribbean, Mexico, even the Philippines. So it's really people from who are descendants of Latin America here now working in the U.S.
And in any given year, how many different exhibitions does the museum carry?
We present about, you're going to edit this.
Yes. Yeah, that's why I was doing my mistake.
Okay. We present about 5 exhibitions per year. So yeah, we rotate them every season. Yeah, it's really exciting.
How do you go about deciding what cultures or what exhibitions that you put out for the year?
It really, the exhibitions that we put in a year, it depends on our curatorial team. They really have a lead time of up to 5 years deciding what we're going to show. And in the past 3 years long, we've really given visibility to women artists. So we've had Coco Cusco last time, Camila Alvarez, Imágenes 24. And these are just, the core of what we do is give visibility to artists that haven't had the chance to feature in other museums.
Yeah, that's one of the things that you learn once you like to focus on the underserved and overlooked people here in New York City. Give us a little bit of background on the history of the Museo del Barrio.
El Museo del Barrio was created in 1969 by a educator artist. And the company had a long educators, a group of families and activists. We were really wanting to give voice to the Puerto Rican community. scholarship in like the ensure that the students in New York City would learn more about it. So they did that. They just created this beautiful museum and moved from different buildings to where we are now on Airport Street. And since then, we were really trying to give visibility to our communities. Since then, we're not only serving the Puerto Rican community, we've expanded to the Latin artists and communities.
What makes the Museo del Barrio different from other, let's say, Latino or Hispanic museums, not just in New York City, which you don't know how many there are, but around the country? What would make yours exclusive that visitors would only find here in New Orleans?
We're really focusing El Barrio, which is the East Harlem. We really serve this community but also anyone in New York City who's interested in learning about us and our culture. So, but it's really museum rooted in our neighborhood. We really appreciate like the activism the community did for this. So yeah, we are different because of our location, and also we have really interesting programs that probably many others have.
That's the next question I was going to ask you about.
Yeah.
What type of programs do you have that involve the community or that would attract other New Yorkers to the museum?
So we have an interesting symposium coming up on May 1st, and that's about Sofia Rivera and her work with some scholars discussing her impact in the art community, which is going to be here at MUSEO DEL BARRIO. It's so interesting. It's free and open to the public. Then we also do community programs. We're going to have Museum Mile, which we and along other museums are going to open the streets and have a big block party. And so we'll have music outside, we'll have arts activities, we'll open our doors to our galleries and have some tours. We also have later in the fall, we have Day of the Dead and then Drinking Day, which is really cultural celebrations that are really interesting, and it's family oriented, and it's to invite people from all generations to come and learn about their culture.
That brings you to another good question. What's the average or typical visitor to the museum? What are they like? What is their background? Where are they from? More in the city, more from out the city, or a combination of all?
Yeah, the people who visit the museum are all from many different backgrounds. We have people from who are Latino, they're interested in more about what we do. Or we have also tourists that are like really interested in knowing more about what we present, family, kids. It depends on also the program that we have, the person that will show up. But yeah, it's really all over the place, and I think what makes us very different is that it's very welcoming. Here's a museum that it's not intimidating, everybody's warm, everybody feels welcome.
How many visitors, or roughly visitors from different school-age children, different schools from around the city? Give us an idea of the type of visitors that come based on either education or, let's say, lifestyles.
Yeah, so we have a wonderful public programs in the education department that they do outreach with educations. We provide school group visits, and we teach them about our culture, our exhibitions. We also do go bring teaching artists to schools and tell them, create an activity and learn something about our culture. So it's like we go to the schools and the schools come to us.
What's two of your biggest challenges in running a museum that focuses on a culture that has different opinions and different, let's say, constituencies? How challenging is that for you guys?
Yeah, it's challenging in terms of funding, I think most of all, because we're free and open to the public. We're really pay what you wish, but we really want to make sure that it's accessible for anyone who wants to learn about what we do. But at the same time, yeah, funding is critical, so we really value any membership, board members, and so yeah, so they're, so yeah, so it's really funding the main thing that we always have to work with.
Okay. Here's a question I'm pretty sure you're going to love answering. Can you give us an idea of some of the celebrities or famous New Yorkers who would be the Latino or Hispanic descent or non-Hispanic descent that have been visitors to the museum?
What's his name? What was J-Lo's husband, Tony?
Susanna T.
Let me Google it, 'cause he was his
Don't worry about it.
Tony, George, Anthony, Mark Anthony.
Mark Anthony, okay.
Yeah. So I know that we've had other celebrities, but the one that I know anecdotally was Mark Anthony.
Okay. What about Louis Vuitton? Has he been here?
I don't think so, but
We'll call him. Okay.
yeah.
that's
We'll
for sure.
look out there.
Okay. What about the mayor of Mount Donnie? Has he given you guys any love? Any mentions of him?
He stopped by earlier, but yeah, I think we have a wonderful government and community relations department, and they do an amazing work working with the city and the government. They're really always very supportive of our work and understand how impactful we are to the community.
Okay. Speaking of the community, what would you like to tell New Yorkers that will be watching this feature about the museum, or more importantly, the best reason to come and visit?
Yes, well, the best reason to come and visit is that it's a beautiful museum. As I said, it's warm, friendly, and everybody is welcome. And the best of all is be what you wish. So it's really, there's no excuse.